I guess let's talk about grades. I went back and forth whether we want to grade half a
Man.
season or something like that, but I think it maybe helps put us talk about this a little bit more. Let's do the bad one. We know we're going to have bad grades for this area, or at least I assume we will for the most part. The offense. Let's grade the offense. I mean, are you doing thumbs up, thumbs down, no
Hey,
grades?
the E2C lifers know it.
Is that all we're giving right there? No,
Yeah,
no.
I'm gonna say I'll give explanation. I think it's two thumbs down for me. I think you could say 1.5 if I was physically able to do it. I don't think it's been dreadful. Like you have to show the signs to me of like now they've beat the opponents they're supposed to beat, right? And you could say that maybe they were supposed to beat Cal or they were supposed to beat Arkansas, but I think that overall everyone would agree it's been disappointing. But I think that all goes back to what I was just saying about that everybody needs to be on the same page. Decision making has been bad. Turnovers have been bad. And I think that we've shown progress, very, very small, but there's progress going there that you have to hope maybe toward the back half of the season all comes together and Auburn can do some Auburn magic like they're used to.
Yeah. I would probably give it, if we're going to do the thumbs, I'm going to give it like a sideways thumb because I don't think you can ignore the statistics. And I don't think you can also ignore the reality of this. I mean, both those things have a place in this. The reality is Auburn has lost 4 of its 6 games, largely, I think, at least half of deficiencies in the offensive area, strictly around turnovers. Yes, quarterback play is lumped in that. We're not forgetting that, folks. But if you're also ignoring the fact that running backs have dropped the ball a ridiculous amount to start off the season, and also like other situations of drop passes, missed routes, all those things, people being played when they're injured,
offensive
all of that.
line.
So I think I can't even give it a thumbs down because the statistics are there. I'm like flat. I can't go up. It's right here. You fit. I think that's the frustrating part about this for everybody. It's so clear what needs to be fixed. At least we see it here. And I think that's what makes it hard to process.
And I'll tattle on myself there because I just called out people who have unrealistic expectations, and maybe that alters where their viewpoints are at this point. I think I had high expectations for this offense with the recruiting that came in, with the first game putting 70 on somebody. And so, that's probably alters my choice of thumbs down there more than anything. But it is what it is. I really struggle with people who say they don't see progress. And I think that there is obvious progress there. Maybe minimal, but we'll see where it goes in the back half.
If people say they don't see progress, that's them wanting their narrative and their thing that they complain about constantly to be true so that they can say, I told you so on social media, but never to anybody's face. I'll leave it at that. All right. So there's offense. Defense. This one is hard for me to process because you've had a defense that has at times let down, but has also made great adjustments at times and has given a struggling offense in terms of completing what they've been doing outside of yardage and explosive plays, opportunities to be in the game and stay in the game.
Correct.
Especially over the last couple weeks, they played a Georgia team that I think at their place, really needing to come off a disappointing loss to Alabama, keeping them in check for the majority of the game. We talked about it. Some players that are really rising up that we've known for a while. Keldrick Flock, new players are starting to show up a lot too. Some mainstays there too. I mean, how do you did it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What are we doing?
I'm giving the defense a thumbs up. I mean, I think like you said, they have been a unit that was overall that had a new coordinator and a bunch of new faces and had big question marks coming into the year. And like you said, they have kept Auburn's offense in the game despite having to play a lot more snaps than they should. And despite having to really pick up the slack that they didn't really give a lot off for. And so I think the fact that they've been able to do that, there's been a lot of bend, don't break for this Auburn offense. And of course, or the Auburn defense, excuse me. Of course, at the end of the day, yes, they gave up more points than Auburn scored. So I get what you're saying, what you could say about, well, that's the 4 losses right there. But I think when you look at the total picture, they've done a lot better than people gave them credit for coming into the year, and have kept Auburn competitive in some of these games that have been heartbreakers for them.
Yeah, they definitely have. Let's talk about special teams very briefly. And I know it's hard to also, everything's difficult this year. Struggling, right? That was one of the words we talked about. A year where your starting kicker's out, a phenom in a sense, it looks like, came in, had some good moments, had some struggle moments. He's also been put in some rough situations.
Agreed.
Oscar Chapman is having a good year as typical, and he made probably one bad decision on a fake punt. But listen, we're kind of desperate in that game, so I'm not really holding that against him. He saw an opening and just didn't work out. It's one of those plays you go, if it works, you're brilliant. If it doesn't, you're stupid. Fumbles on punt returns, a couple of kick returns that could have been if Jeremiah Cobb gets one more block, or there's just a little bit room on the edge. I want to do a thumbs up here. My problem is I have been burned by drop punts on punt returns, but by experienced guys too much. And so for that alone, we've had some struggles. I've got to just give a flat thumb. Like I can't ignore the good, but I cannot go up this way. I'm a flat right here.
Yeah, I feel similar. I think that, I think everybody is really thinking of Towns Magoo in this moment when special teams is so much more than just Towns, who has been put in a difficult situation of his own right with, walking on, thinking he's the hometown kids coming in thinking I get to learn behind a guy who didn't miss a field goal last year. And
he's still 100%, folks.
Correct.
100% has. Okay. Knocking on wood. Sorry. Go ahead.
Just difficult situations. And so, yeah, I'm with you though. There's been a lot of mistakes that just specifically in the punt return game have not helped Auburn, and have just caused more of that panic and fluster. However, I think that it's a good unit, and it's a good unit that can clean things up and help Auburn win. It's just a matter of making sure all those cogs and wheels are oiled right.
It is. So whether you agree with our assessments or not, those are kind of how we feel. Talking a little bit at the start and giving you, it turned into a thumbs up, thumbs down segment.